New Brunswick says they aren't ready. Saskatchewan and Ontario are still trying to fight it in court, but the federal government's $20 per ton carbon tax will come into effect for those four provinces tomorrow. And that's no April Fool's joke. People in Ontario, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba can expect to pay more at the pump, up to 5 cents a litre, but they will also receive a tax rebate under the federal government's plan that's supposed to be worth even more. Just how will each person get that money back? And will this really make a difference? Let's find out. Environment Minister Catherine McKenna is here. And as I always say, I've known you for a long time before you entered politics. Minister, the Conservatives say this is a tax on everything. Everything's going to get more expensive. Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, said this is going to throw the province into a recession. It is true to an extent that things will get more expensive. What do you tell people who say, I don't want to pay more at the pump, Catherine McKenna?
So most people I talk to, they say they want to see climate action. And we know part of any credible climate plan is making it no longer free to pollute. And we had hoped provinces would step up. And provinces across the board, except for provinces led by Conservative politicians, believe that we shouldn't be free to pollute. Because it's free to pollute, there'll be more pollution. So unfortunately, we've had to step in because pollution knows no borders. We're paying the cost right now, but we're putting a price on pollution and giving back a climate action incentive rebate.
For the average person says, look, I don't want to go spend 5 more cents per litre. Every time they fill up, they're going to think, thank you very much, Liberal government. What do you tell those people?
Well, first of all, I say get excited about doing your taxes because you will get your climate action incentive rebate in Ontario, Manitoba, New Brunswick, and Saskatchewan when you file your taxes. So you will get money back. A family of 4 in Ontario will get $307. That's more than 80% of families than they pay, and you can save even more money. If you use solutions like a smart meter in your home, instead of heating or cooling your home when you're not there, using a smart meter, you can get it at Canadian Tire or any local hardware store.
People, conservatives say that don't buy it. No one believes that the government's going to collect a tax only to turn around and give it back. Why collect it in the first place? They don't believe that this rebate is actually the real thing. They've called it a cash grab. What's your response to that?
It's in legislation. So Andrew Scheer knows this because it went through Parliament. It's actually by law. We are giving money back. 90% is going directly to people. 10% is going to support businesses, schools, hospitals, cities be more energy efficient and save more money that they can invest in people.
But the logic is, and I spoke to the Environment Minister in Ontario, and he said, I don't even get the logic. If you're supposed to use the market mechanisms to change behavior, right? If you make cigarettes more expensive, maybe there's a black market, but fewer people will buy cigarettes. That's the logic here. If you put a price on pollution, people will take different action. But if you then give them a rebate, imagine for cigarettes. Yes, we're going to make cigarettes more expensive, but don't worry, we're going to give you even more money than you spend on cigarettes back. Would people really quit smoking? In other words, will this really change people's behavior? Or is your rebate a political bandaid that actually undermines the logic of behavior change?
No, this is a system that works. What you do is you put a price on gas. Yes, let's be clear, the price of gas will go up just over 4 cents. And that creates an incentive for people to consider, maybe I should look at a more energy efficient vehicle. Maybe I should choose public transportation. We announced $5,000 incentive for electric vehicles. But that's your choice. You have a choice to do that, but you still get the money back at the end of the day because...
But doesn't that undermine the incentive? Like, you want people driving SUVs not to go to the pump, make a different choice. But it's like, well, if I can get a couple $100 back, you've actually just subsidized me driving an SUV. I pay a little more at the pump. I'm still making money. But why would I change behavior?
Because because it works. Because human behavior will be, oh, I'm paying more here, so maybe I should think about making a different choice. But you can still give the money back, and that's actually a conservative approach to pricing. It's not the only thing we're doing.
Okay, but does it work? And I think this is the other thing. A lot of conservatives who don't like this plan say it doesn't even work. And there's lots of studies, and you know this, that at $20 a ton, and at $30 a ton, and at $40, there's no way your government will hit the very targets, the Harper targets, the Paris Climate Accord targets that you've agreed to. It's still not going to work. Their argument is it's got to go up to $200 or $300 a ton to even hit your targets. So then what's the point?
So let's be clear. We have committed to making our targets. And pricing pollution is not the only thing we're doing, because we've decided to take across-the-board measures that are practical, that are going to reduce emissions and make life affordable. So pricing pollution is part of that. Historic investments, public transportation, part of that. Light rail transit in Ottawa will be the largest reduction in greenhouse gas emissions in the city's history.
Right, but answer the question, because you're going to get hit in the election campaign for this, and I want the answer. The Conservatives say, how high does the price of carbon have to go to be effective? They're going to say it has to go to $200 or $300 a ton. True or false?
No, because our plan, we are not just putting a price on pollution. They know that.
Okay, so
that
how
we have
high
a
up will it
whole
go?
range of measures.
So
we have committed.
Do you have plans to raise the price per ton beyond $50?
We have said it will go to $50, and then there's a consultation. There is no plan to increase the price now. We are doing a whole range of other measures. But I'm not being cute when I say this, that I think it is incumbent on the Conservatives to say what their plan is. Andrew Scheer, it's been 330 more days since he said he would have a climate plan. They have no climate plan. They spend all their time fighting and putting out misinformation about our plan, and climate change is accelerating. It's not becoming less. There's a real cost right now. They don't seem to understand the cost, nor do they seem to understand the opportunity of climate action. The Conservative politicians, we should all be working together. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting climate change.
You said that this is just part of the plan. So are we to understand that before the election, you might actually announce more policies that will curtail carbon?
We've already announced all our measures. We
negotiated. So there's not new ones coming?
Well, I mean, we announced an incentive for electric vehicles. We're always looking at what we can do more. We have a sustainable finance task force. How do we change billions into trillions into clean
No, I get
solutions?
that, but to hit the targets, like I'm going to ask you every time, when are you hitting the targets? And then you'll say, well, we have stuff. So do you have new policies coming that will actually get this government to hit the Harper targets?
So we are 3/4 of the way there for the targets. And I've been clear about this. These are 2030 targets. We're continuing to accelerate action. These targets, let's be clear, are years out. Of course we need to continue to take action. But let's be clear what was happening on the Harper government. We were going in the wrong direction. There was no plan, no policies. And it was as if climate change wasn't a serious risk to our economy or a serious opportunity to create good jobs, to grow our economy, and to do what we need to do for future generations.
Before I let you go, the other big issue for your government is obviously Jody Wilson-Raybould, the SNC-Lavalin, and Jane Philpott. Obviously, she submitted her documents on Friday. Do you think Jane Philpott and Jody Wilson-Raybould still belong in the caucus? If there was a vote, would you vote to have them, they've had their moment, to kick them out?
Look, I think that there's an important discussion to be had with caucus, and that's a decision for caucus.
But you're in caucus, so would you vote to kick them out?
Well, I think it's an important discussion that we have, that when you are in caucus, what you are saying is that you support your colleagues, that you support the policies that we have, including taking action on climate change, which I'm continuing to do, and also you support the Prime Minister.
All right, I got to leave it there. Catherine McKenna, always good to have you on the program.
That was great.